Dad announced it casually, like commenting on the rain. Steady, matter of fact, done. We're taking over your office space. Hi, I'm Maya, 26, web developer. The one who solves every glitch. The one they assume will always give in. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. Ethan grinned behind his drink. Mom explained his audience deserved the extra room. All 38 subscribers, I answered evenly. Okay, I'll empty it tomorrow. Inside, though, something quietly collapsed. 3 years of midnight coding sessions, 60-hour grind weeks in that garage, every paid project, every satisfied client, every small ambition erased with one offhand remark. I stared down at my food, inhaling slowly. No explosion, no drama, only a subtle realignment of weight. They expected pushback. They expected surrender. They missed the exit sign lighting up in my mind. They pictured me retreating to the basement. I was already scanning for a new zip code. Before we move on, drop a comment. Where are you tuning in to Echoes of Life from? I always love discovering how widely these moments travel. That garage wasn't merely storage. It was the single corner of the house where I was allowed to be fully me. Every overdue invoice I chased, every crisis debugged at dawn, every deal that quietly kept their household running. But the pattern stretched back much further. At 16, I scraped together savings for months to buy my first laptop. Ethan received the latest smartphone because teenagers need them. In college, I juggled 2 campus jobs. Ethan flunked community college twice, and they faulted the instructors, never his choices. Last winter, when the furnace failed, I handed over $2,000. They labeled me generous, then moved on. When Dad's car transmission died, I paid $1,800. I'll repay you soon, he promised. The check never arrived. When Mom's vehicle broke down on the highway, I repaired it on the spot. She repaid me with dinner scraps. I convinced myself this was normal family give and take. I convinced myself they depended on me. The reality cut cleaner. I was the one designated to brace the ceiling. Ethan was designated to dazzle. They cheered his barely passing grades. They downplayed my straight-A report cards. His messes got excused. My steadiness got exploited. Each time I buried the sting, I repeated that it was insignificant. But pain doesn't vanish. It accumulates. It lingers across birthdays, through sleepless nights, across decades of being the dependable pillar. So when Dad declared, "We're taking your office," he wasn't just claiming square footage. He was voicing the fear I'd carried forever. My priorities were disposable. Ethan's were non-negotiable. Once that realization lands, it stays. This wasn't about a lost workspace. It was about every unspoken agreement I'd honored being declared null. The next morning, I sat in my parked car, engine silent, fingers chilled on the wheel, simply existing in the stillness. Bay Area rents were punishing, but remaining felt more punishing. Remaining meant diminishing. I launched the apartment app and began searching. Found a studio in Oakland, 500 square feet, dated appliances, soft natural light, space for my setup, and most importantly, silence. First month, last month, deposit $2,550 total. My savings sat at $2,800. Not luxurious, but sufficient for independence. I messaged the landlord, Janet, attaching proof of income and excellent credit. She responded quickly. "Unit's open now. Come look." I drove over before second thoughts could surface. The apartment felt modest yet solid. No damp smells, no raised voices, no uninvited entries. A simple view and scuffed hardwood that asked nothing of me. "I'll take it," I told her. My tone held firm. At home, I said nothing. I simply altered my actions. Small, deliberate shifts. Monday, I shopped only for essentials. Milk, bread. Mom eyed the sparse bag, puzzled. "Money's tight," I replied, and left the room. When internet flickered out, I left it dead. When Dad grumbled about the jammed printer, I stayed silent. When Ethan requested a lift, I lifted my mug. Bus stop's 2 blocks away. He blinked as if I'd switched dialects. The household had run on my unseen effort. Removing it caused immediate stutters. Nights, I quietly transferred my essentials to the new place. Laptop first, then files, notes, gear, the foundation of my world. Items no one valued until absent. By midweek, the grass had grown wild, dishes piled high, connection spotty. Mom frazzled, Dad annoyed, Ethan bewildered. Their system was faltering. I was growing lighter, freer, gently loosening years of obligation. My mental ledger kept recalculating. Rent here, security deposit there, unpaid domestic hours now theirs to cover. For the first time, the numbers favored me. They urged departure. They noticed only the neglected tasks, not the widening gap, not the vanishing belongings, not my exit in progress. By the point the fractures showed clearly, most of my presence had already departed. Before we go deeper, if you were in my place hearing this on Echoes of Life, what path would you choose? Comment 1 to preserve harmony silently. Comment 2 to demand transparency, even publicly. The turning point arrived the following day. Dad entered the garage holding a measuring tape. "Quick update," he said. "I sold your workbench. Buyer's coming tomorrow." A hush settled inside me. "You sold my workbench?" I echoed. "The one I purchased and assembled myself." He shifted uncomfortably, but pressed on. "Ethan needs a proper streaming setup. You're heading to the basement regardless." There it stood, unfiltered at last. My sweat and equipment, communal assets, my requirements, negotiable. "You'll get half," he offered hastily. $100. For countless hours and physical strain. "Keep the money," I answered. "Consider it another donation to Ethan's future." After he walked away, I opened my phone, reserved a U-Haul for Saturday. $60, confirmed. That evening, I dragged my suitcase out and packed garments, not cables. Dad appeared in the doorway. "What's happening, Maya?" I continued folding. "I'm leaving tomorrow." "To where? Why keep it secret?" "Lease signed last week. I'm informing you today." "This is absurd," he shot back. "You're blowing it out of proportion. We're family. The basement's available." Family as obligation. Basement as repayment. I stepped past him, grabbed paper from the printer, marker in hand. Top line, Maya's contributions. Past year. Rent/utilities, approximately $12,000. Groceries, nearly $5,000. Fixes/tech help, approximately $7,000. Approximate total, $24,800. Below it, Ethan's contributions, $0. Entitlement, infinite. I taped it to the refrigerator. Mom entered, scanned it, face ashen. "It can't be that high," she murmured. "Review my statements," I said. "I saved every proof." Dad studied it twice, face paling. "The furnace wasn't that costly," he attempted. $2,700, I corrected. "You said repayment when finances improved." "I'm not arguing dollars," I continued softly. "I'm finished acting like equity exists." "But the Wi-Fi? His streaming channel?" Mom pressed. "I removed my name from the account yesterday. Utilities switch off my responsibility Monday." Quiet swallowed the room. No connection, no broadcasts. Saturday, the truck backed into the drive. I loaded boxes while they watched. Calm, complete, absent. Mom wept. Dad blamed. Ethan gripped his now pointless light stand. I never raised my voice or cataloged grievances. I simply closed the door and started the engine. In the mirror, they appeared diminished. A home suddenly forced to confront its own expenses. When warmth left the walls, they tasted a sliver of my long chill. My first week in the studio felt startlingly serene. No urgent, "Maya, internet's out." No, "Can you check the car?" No, "Ethan needs transport." Only my workstation facing daylight, active projects, hot coffee, ownership. Day 2, Mom messaged, "Internet dead. You canceled it?" I let the typing indicator fade unanswered. Silence became reply enough. Day 3, Dad phoned. Hot water tank rumbling oddly. "Search YouTube," I suggested. "Why, welcome to being responsible." Day 10 brought the serious plea. "Furnace died. he said, strain in his tone. It's cold. Can't afford a technician. Naturally, their backup reserve had always worn my name. Read the error display, I instructed. He recited it. I referenced the guide online. Igniter failure, part around $95, service extra. He fell back on habit. Could you come handle it? I glanced at my heated, self-funded space, name on every utility, accomplishments on display. I could, I replied, but with terms. Silence stretched. Terms? I repair it this once, then we gather at the table. Full financial transparency. Shared duties. Ethan begins contributing. Employment, partial rent, household tasks. He paused, ego clashing with frost. Agreed, he conceded. The fix took 60 minutes. Igniter replaced. Warmth restored. As Mom began gratitude, I stopped her. Table, bills, now. We laid out mortgage, services, food costs, subscriptions, every expense quietly shifted to me. This is real monthly living cost, I explained. This is how much I've covered. Ethan scoffed. Overdramatic. This is arithmetic, I countered. To him, rent $250 monthly starting now. Secure paid work in 4 weeks. Maintain the yard, learn basic fixes alongside Dad. That's unfair, he protested. I have no cash. That's why employment exists, I returned. Streaming stays recreation until it funds itself. I braced for Dad's usual defense. Instead, he exhaled heavily. She's correct, Ethan. Change is overdue. Ethan's expression registered shock. Not aimed my way for once. I aligned the documents neatly. I'm not withdrawing affection, I stated. I'm withdrawing endless subsidy. I ceased being the default rescuer and began setting standard terms. 6 months on, the family home felt transformed. Grass neat, exterior bulb functional. New agreement. Monthly dinners only. No impromptu fixes, no casual, you're here anyway requests. Mom greeted me warmly. Kitchen carried cooking aromas, not urgency. Sink clear, router glowing steadily. Over dessert, Dad produced an envelope. $500 inside, folded precisely. A beginning, he said. We'll continue repayments monthly. No vague soon anymore. Tension in my ribs eased. Not gone, but acknowledged. Ethan earned a promotion, Mom noted. Warehouse team lead. He shrugged, faintly flushed. More shifts, slightly better pay. Welcome to grown-up life, I offered neutrally. When the dishwasher stuttered, eyes flicked to me instinctively. I remained seated. Dad looked at Ethan. Can you inspect it tomorrow? Ethan agreed, as though routine. Days later, a text arrived. Bonus check. Sending $300 for the old bike debt. I was unfair. Apologies. Funds deposited with a brief memo. The sum mattered less than the ownership. I maintain limits still. No loans, no instant saves. I show up as family member, not utility. Occasionally, the gentlest choice is departure. Not to wound, but to cease shielding others from natural consequences. Moving out didn't dissolve my family. It dissolved their reliance on carrying me beneath them. If this Echoes of Life tale struck a chord, hit like, pass it to anyone weary of the load, and subscribe for what comes next.